Broadcasting from our station, spinning 3,900 feet above the watery sphere.
I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
This is Monitor Duty. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And as predicted in the chat, we are actually fantastically 40 minutes after 7.
And since there's only 3 of us, I thought I'd bring in a Robbie the Robot, or whatever you call it, Herbie the Robot.
Herbie the Robot. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, to make up for not having...
It's Wednesday. It is time for Monitor Duty. And today, we are going to be discussing the Fantastic Four episodes, issues 6 through 10.
There you go.
Because we did not do 6 last time. We just did the first. We did 1 and then 2 through 5, and
okay.
And so I realized that as we were getting ready for Thing-Me's.
All right. That dog.
I also realized that I did not get. Oh my goodness, where did I put that? Here we go. So anyhow.
There we go. There.
Ladies and germs. How is everybody doing tonight before we get started?
How am I doing? Let me find out. Hey, Cartoonicus, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. I guess I'm doing fine.
He's
Cool.
talking to himself. That's perfectly fine. Okay.
That's how you know it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm kind of, it's typical Wednesday, running from work to my show to supper to this. So, but I made it. and I've got the book in front of me, just to give everybody a refresher of what we're talking about. This is the, can I get it centered here? This is the Fantastic Four, nice little cover, and so we're covering this. Let's see, this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue, and this issue. So it's a bunch of them. I can't even get them all into the thing, but yeah, so it's a lot. Like, it's got like one of those typical wanted posters for the 4 heroes, which is almost a cliche at this point, but probably not when it came out. And so that's referring to this one here.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Yeah, and so we've got we got Namor in these. We've got Doctor Doom returns. This is the Puppet Master shows up in this, and I didn't realize that the Alicia, the blind girl, that even I know about Alicia because she was in the 1980s or 1990s Fantastic Four
cartoon. Yeah.
No, the
film.
The Corman movie, yeah.
Oh, I still haven't seen the Corman film.
Oh, it's amazing because it has a first-person shot of Alicia as somebody kidnaps her and they come up and spray her in the face with some stuff to knock her out. And it's like, you're getting a first-person perspective shot from a blind woman, which is kind of weird. They did not think that through.
Oh, Roger Corman, you mad genius.
You still got to see that sometime, yeah.
Yes,
but at least that was the only one I think that had the blind girl. I don't think she was in any of the other adaptations, was she?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the one from this summer, but I don't remember from any of the other ones. So
yeah, no, this summer it wasn't. I don't think it was Alicia. They had some other love interest for the Thing, but
yes,
yeah. But I did not realize that she is the daughter of a supervillain. So
I didn't either. That was surprising to me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I don't think any of us were expecting that.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. But so starting off first with, actually, I think I am in the wrong. Hang on, guys. I think I did the wrong thing. I think this is issue 7, and I want to talk about issue 6.
Okay.
So I'm gonna remove this for a second. Scroll up the correct issue. Oh, I'm such a fool. Such a fool.
I had to get my Korax counter off of the screen. I still had that from my show earlier today. Just so you know, as long as we're filling time here, on Mondays and Wednesdays I play Zelda, and I'm now doing a thing where I have to get like 35 Koroks in 2 hours time, where I have to tell a very embarrassing story that I've never told anybody. And it started out with 30, then it went to 33. Today it was 35. I'm just running myself around like a madman, so I don't have to do that.
So this is the kind of thing where eventually you will lose, right?
Well, it just motivates me more to make sure that I'm running around like crazy. So
Buying
next time it's
time?
maybe 37. I don't know. What? Oh yeah. Okay. Is this the one we're doing?
This is the one we're doing. Yes,
Namor
yes,
and Doom. Okay.
Namor and Doom. This is the diabolical duo, and this is the thing that I thought this particular story was one that Twitless had been talking about in the back channels, and I thought it was really interesting. And of course, the premise of the story is that the Fantastic Four, they've got their whole business, and it goes. And this is a great cutaway. Look at this thing. The top 5 floors of the Baxter Building, and all the stuff, the little different compartments, little cutaway. I think it's just great.
It's like the Batcave wishes it was this advanced.
What?
I said the Batcave wishes it was this advanced.
Could be. But yeah, they have this it's basically slice of life stuff going on with the Baxter Building, talking about things. And then Dr. Doom saddles up and gets Namor and gives him an offer he can't refuse. Right now, here's the thing. I want to break a little bit here. He's got this very purple aeroplane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it converts into a submarine, which of course is like the most perfect thing ever for like a little boy, right? Like I remember being a kid thinking like Transformers and Mask and all that kind of stuff. This is the coolest thing ever. And the Batmobile, because it could hover, or it could, or whatever. Or Inspector Gadgets, right? It's a sports car. No, it's a truck. No, it's a minivan.
Translation, we can sell toys.
Yeah.
You are not kidding. It's amazing. Now, here's the thing about this, though. I watched this and I instantly thought of that horrible, what was the name of that submarine, that experimental submarine that killed those people a year and a half ago?
The one going down to see the Titanic.
Down to see the Titanic, and it just crumpled in on itself like an empty tin can
because it was using a gamer controller as its.
No, it wasn't the controller that was the issue.
Well, I know it wasn't, but it does kind of tell you.
The controller was kind of the cherry on top, honestly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is when the guy were talking about it, like, I wasn't aware of it before it happened, right? But after it happened, they had video of the guy talking about it, and I instantly knew what the problem was, right? Because he was talking about using carbon fiber and other technologies that are useful that are being used in experimental airplanes. And airplanes, the things that make airplanes work are the opposite of the things that make submersibles work.
Right.
Like the actual technologies are exactly opposite.
Which is why this idea of the subplane is a very hard thing to conquer.
Yeah. Right. Now it looks like it would make sense.
Spy Smasher had one in 1940. So.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. And the thing is, the shapes are similar, right? The shape of the submersible and the shape of an airplane look like they should be the same thing, but like it's exactly the opposite of what makes them work.
Right. You need a very thick hull for a submersible. You need a very thin, light hull for getting up in the air. You don't want to weigh a ton. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can compensate for that with giant wings, right? Mm-hmm. Like your big C-150s and whatever else. Mm-hmm. But still.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing back. Oh wow. You're just giving me flashbacks to when I was a kid and I saw the Three Stooges go to Mars. or what was it? The Martians versus the Three Stooges or something like that. The plot was about a submarine that has like tank treads and it has like big helicopter blades. So like it can do all three. I forget I forget what the plot is. I just remember seeing the demo of the little toy going around, and I'm like, they made this just to sell that, didn't they? So yeah, it is one of those things that little kids love the idea of,
Yeah. So
by the way, the name of the submersible was the Titan, and I was trying to remind myself because I knew there was something wrong with. I remembered about the name of the company that made it. It's Ocean Gate. Like, really?
So here we have Namor, and I want to say this is one of my this moment, right? Namor and Doctor Doom are in Namor's secret underwater base that he built, right? Namor has now remember this point in the story, guys. The big story is Namor returned to Atlantis after some adventure in between the after World War II and now. And the whole place had been abandoned, right? There's the buildings have been taken out. It's this wasteland. And they talk about that a little bit in this issue. But one of the things that ends up happening is that Namor has built himself a sanctum along the remains of the city of Atlantis. And because remember, Silver Age Marvel has a city of Atlantis. Silver Age DC has a sunken continent of Atlantis. Let's remember that, people. Anyway, so here in the other location, he's got a little air thing. But look at this little throne room he's got here. It's just I love the design work in here, and just like the regalness, and to think that Namor built this by hand, right? Like this makes this guy so interesting, right? Yeah. Is he a crazy, mad, demigod? Sure. But he also is a craftsman who enjoys the finer things and beauty, right? And he's making it himself. And think about this in Fantastic Four, right? You've got Reed and Doctor Doom and Johnny, too, as a person who loves mechanicking, and Namor. You've got these characters that just they're not just consumers, they actually love to make things, right? How cool is that? It just makes the world feel really rich to me. You're saying, Cartoonicus?
I was just trying to say there's an easy way to sum this up, and that is Namor is a Bond villain.
Yeah, this is okay. So this is 64 or 62. Is how many Bond villains are publicly known at this point?
Well, that's the thing. Before Bond villains, there were, oh gosh, what was his name? Doc Savage villains and such, right? Back in those early, what do we call it? The Platinum Age.
Right.
Those kinds of evil genius villains were a thing even before Bond. They just kind of got really popular.
And Fu Manchu, right?
And so
all the way back into the Victorian era.
Fantastic Four here being such a sci-fi, and every new issue I read feels more and more, less and less like a superhero comic, and more like one of those older kind of sci-fi adventure things. Yeah. So it does not surprise me that that's the way they went here.
Right.
I think whoever was writing this grew up on those kinds of stories, and they're pulling on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and both Stan and Lee, right? Stan and Jack, they're both were involved in Golden Age comics too, which also have that pulp origins and 1950s 1930s monster movies kind of in their DNA, right? So here's the thing is we've got the scene here on the thing is so this is up top, this panel 1, this is what Namor built. Here panel 5, here's a shot of the city of Atlantis, right before the bombs fell. And that's the ticket, is it was a sub. They're saying here that it was a sub-aquatic nuclear bomb test that somebody did without knowing Atlantis was there. That's what you get for being so secretive, Atlanteans. But no, seriously though, that's part of the ticket here, and it tears Namor up. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll be part of your evil cabal, and they have this device, the grabber that Doctor Doom has invented, using magnetic rays to pick up anything. But what a plot device this ends up being. So
I'm following along. Sorry, I'm not really talking.
no,
I'm letting you.
it's fine. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, that's the fun thing. So moving along a little bit here. Let's skip a bit.
I love the image on the bottom of the next page. The very last panel is as he's looking between the shelves of books. It's a nice comic panel. It really works as a comic book panel. That's all.
It's funny, it doesn't feel like it because, it's the 60s, Silver Age and all. But when I think about this idea, Namor was a character who was back literally, fighting the Japanese during World War II.
Right.
And he's being reinvented here. And then suddenly we're told that all Atlantis was destroyed. This is the equivalent of, so many characters we've seen get that like dark, gritty reboot in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from the chat, we said Jim Tuner mentions that Alicia was in the 2007 movie in a minor way.
Okay.
Okay. Dave's asking if they do schematics in comics anymore. Not often. I've used that in Forces some.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Force Good and Evil, you might have seen that.
Yeah, like in the 80s, they still did that for the Titans Tower and the Z Building and the Zoo Crew.
Yep.
Well,
and the trade paperback of the first of the Robin Year One, not Robin Year One of the Robin miniseries. What was it called? Hero Reborn or something.
I think the first Robin miniseries was just called Robin.
Right. But there was a trade paperback that had it had that 5 issues and also like the 3 issues from Detective Comics or Batman.
Right.
It was not Detective, it was Batman.
I have it back here on the shelf somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a schematic of Robin's costume. Of the Robin costume in the back of it.
Yeah, I think schematics kind of fell out of favor because artists generally draw it differently every time you see it anyway.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. It's like every time you see here's what the Batcave now looks like, and this is the first year design, and then the next artist who takes over completely scraps that whole thing where the Batcave is 10 stories around a cylinder, and it's like next one, it's like no, it's just a big flat area. It's like they do it however they want to do it, and they don't even jibe between 2 different comics being put out the same month by 2 different artists. They aren't bound by, and it's funny that nobody complains about that. It's like the Bat computer looks different every time you see it. It's like they don't have any kind of this. The Bat computer will always look like this, so be sure you guys all draw it the same here. This is no, they just redraw it every time. It can have 20 monitors, or it can have 1 gigantic monitor, or it can have 5 keyboards around different. Doesn't matter. It's all up to what you want to draw, and nobody complains. So. Yeah, there you go. I love that last panel. Look at that. The black top and bottom to just make his eyes stand out and the hand reaching for it. It's like that's a Jack Kirby panel if you ever saw one.
Well, and the thing it leads into is great too, because then it's Johnny, and he finds that Sue has secreted away a picture of Namor. And it's like scandal. So Jim in the chat says, look at that picture back in the day when Namor was openly stalking Sue. It seems like it might be going 2 ways on that one. So yeah. Oh, Jim talking about the Batcave. Giant Penny, the big playing card, and the robot dinosaur were always the same. They're what really matter.
Right.
They're always the same, meaning they're there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're drawn the same.
Actually, it used to be a Brontosaurus way back in the 50s.
Oh, really?
They changed to a T-Rex.
Well, the T-Rex is certainly more interesting.
Yeah.
And they actually existed like brontosauruses. Anyhow, so we have the plot. Namor shows up, and he's just like, "Hey guys, you got to stop. stop fighting. I think that it's better if we don't. And everyone's got their opinion about it, and Sue's trying to break up the fight, and of course, Johnny tries to fight, and Thing tries to fight, and they're for some reason they're like, I haven't done anything. I don't know why you guys are being such tools to me. It's great.
The relationship between Namor and Sue is just it's so weird. The way she's holding on to his picture and always coming to his defense, and he also likes her, but at the same time, she's like, no, I'm dating Reed, So,
yeah.
but she doesn't have that totally walled off in her head,
Right. She's
Yeah.
she's waiting for Reed to do something really stupid so she can bail and go with the prince. Man, women, what's wrong with you? So here's the thing. Here was the thing that Twitless that said you have to check this comic out for this reason. So Namor, of course, has snuck into the Baxter building, and they can't find any way that he set up any booby traps. And he's like, "That's fine. I wouldn't booby trap you guys, really." And then all of a sudden, the entire freaking building launches off. It's a skyscraper, middle of Manhattan, just whoop. So here we have this amazing panel of the building just rocketing up from Manhattan Island
with no foundation.
Yeah. How is it happening? How is it going up? Oh, it's because it's being pulled by this airplane that Dr. Doom is going up into space with.
Now you got to give it to this the perspective on this one panel, by the way.
Yeah.
It's great. It's such a dynamic image, right? It's so great. So, not to belabor the point so much because it gets into a lot of just action, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Everybody's trying to do their bit to try to save the day, and eventually Namor does it. But here is the thing. Dr. Doom has magic. It has the magic. Here we go. Sad Robot says, you know who does this? Carmen Sandiego does this.
Yes!
So,
I guess I don't get that. I never
but...
saw. I'm sorry. Why does Carmen Sandiego do that?
She steals the whole landmarks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's in the.
Okay.
Yeah. It's from a video game that was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are. You might be a little old for the when that came out.
No, I played it. I just don't remember that she stole landmarks. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So
sorry, I took all the I just brought this to a standstill. Sorry.
No,
I don't know.
Well, I was wanting to move forward a little bit too because
go ahead.
One of the things that we have here is that so Reed tries to get up there, but he can't because it's too far. And Johnny tries to get out there and he can't because there's too much there's no air in space.
Right.
And they've got space suits and they've got oxygen in the Baxter building, but they don't have enough to get to the ship. So Namor realizes that he's been double crossed, right? Because he was there just to help steal the building, and then Dr. Doom's like, "Hey guys, just so you know, I'm going to send you all into the sun so that there'll be no one to stand in my way." Which seems like a really elaborate plan. But Namor's got a plan. Dave, Carmen Sandiego stole stuff so the kids could learn about history and geography. It was philanthropic.
Yeah, that's right.
So Namor, he gets into the pool on the top of the Baxter building, which for some reason is still there. And he gets pressurized and he swims all the way down to the bottom and he can jump out because he
gets his power from contact with water. So
once again, airplanes versus submarines here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is, but there's also the idea that you get that water pressure around you, and like a bottle, you can pop up. Like you take a pop bottle, fill it with air, drag it down to the bottom of the water, and let go.
It just means he's going to explode the minute he gets into space.
You'd think so, but somehow he's able to get far enough to
This
jump
guy's
off a
gonna get
meteor
the bends
shower.
like has never been gotten before.
He jumps up like a meteor shower. And here's the moment that's greatest. He digs his hands into the side of the ship, tears his way in. And then we see that suddenly the beginning of Namor gets all the fishy powers for forever out of here, which I don't know if that stopped being a thing, but for several stories, Namor's got all of these fish powers. He can absorb electricity. He can see in the complete darkness, even if he didn't have eyes. This whole kind of business, and it's sort of wild. But
he's kind of like a mix of Animal Man and, he can just manifest animal powers despite not having the things which make that work in the animal. It's the same as Animal Man. Yeah.
Right. I don't know how long that was a thing, but it's the Namor comics that I've read from his solo series in the 76 and the 60s and the 70s. I don't recall that being a thing, and his 90s series it definitely wasn't. But here it is, and it works out okay. For the Doctor Doom gets shoved off onto a meteor and goes off into the vast eternity of nothingness, and which is quite something. And then they're like, oh man, so Namor has taken the ship and he's gone off elsewhere, and the Fantastic Four go down to the basement and they find this little grabber, which is what the machine is called, the grabber. And they're looking at it like, can you believe this thing picked up the entire Baxter building? And then whoop, it disappears, and Namor takes it and throws it all into the bottom of the ocean. Ta-da!
Just so that they can't be used again. So this isn't a recurring device. Is that why he does it?
Yeah, I think so.
But then they can't sell toys.
So Dave says that Namor is an aquatic Tarzan. I think that's pretty accurate descriptor.
Fair enough. Another one of those older, pre-Golden Age comics, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Although the reimagining, Peter David's reimagining of Aquaman was very much to make him a very literal Tarzan, raised by dolphins and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, I'm reading Sad Robot's comment there.
Yeah, we can't have the Marvel meta over centralizing and around building theft. That's fair.
I think it was very much a common thing in the Silver Age comics that, or even in Golden Age comics too, that if there was some creation, some kind of device that would disrupt humanity, if it became a common thing, it's like you have an anti-grav, but you got to have the anti-grav be destroyed so that you don't have to explain why we don't all have anti-grav cars next week.
Yeah.
So
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and in fact, that was
like people who build a time machine and then just let it exist and never touch it again. I'm looking at you, Endgame.
That was actually a theme that I had going in one of my Metro Med comic scripts that never got drawn up. But I actually had a character who, how what was his name? The Cary Bates would write himself into Flash comics. Yeah, I actually was going to have the creator of Metro Med, but not me, but like a very old guy who looks kind of like Julius Schwartz, Carmen Infantino, that age, kind of just write himself in. He's the guy who's always been making Metro Med comics, and now he's got cancer. He's like, so I wrote myself into the universe so that I can fix it. They're like, well, we can't cure cancer. He's like, yes, but there was a miracle device that you then had to split into 3 parts and scatter it around the earth so that it couldn't be used ever again, because it was used once to bring somebody back from the dead, and then they got rid of it because you can't have a miracle device sitting around. So go find the miracle device, put it back together, fix my cancer, and then I can leave my comic book. It was just calling back to this thing, how whenever there's a device that's like really cool and amazing and could change the earth forever, it always blows up in the end or something.
Right.
Yeah, or they decide that we can't have this here, and they send it off into another dimension or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, What is this? Doctor Doom created a time machine in the early and abandoned it in a castle in New York. They also just abandoned. That's right. That was the previous story. Actually, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was one issue earlier. Yeah.
Yep. That was one issue earlier.
He has a time machine in a castle, and then he's just like, "Nah, I don't want this."
Wait. Okay. Marvel characters randomly used it for years. Really? I didn't realize they just go into the castle to use the time machine. Oh, that's funny.
I thought that was what Reed Richards was using when he shows up in the Multiverse of Madness, where that big rectangle descends over him.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Isn't that Doctor Doom's machine?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I didn't watch the
exact same transition thing where it just, a big rectangle suddenly makes you appear, bit by bit. So I thought that was because everybody else was commenting like, "Oh, they even had the thing."
Yeah, I didn't see that movie at all. So
Multiverse of Madness is the last thing I want to even remember exists.
It's terrible, except for the fact that John Krasinski is a wonderful Reed Richards.
Yeah,
and then they didn't give it to him. I don't know why. I don't know if he turned it down, or if they supposedly he wasn't able to get it because he wanted it too much. He's like pushing for it. It's like, can I be Reed Richards? And they're like, no, you want it too much. So, and then
it doesn't make any sense.
As a joke.
Why,
I don't know.
Why give the role to somebody who
who wants it
and
would be good for it? Yeah,
and yeah, he's already got all the. And I mean, did you see him as Jack Ryan, Amazon's Jack Ryan series?
Yeah,
it was great.
It was okay.
I mean, it may not be the greatest thing ever, but I mean, his performance was fine.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He would have been a perfectly
casting.
He'd been perfectly good Reed Richards.
Yeah,
right? There's nothing stopping him from being a great Reed Richards.
For all I know, that they did give it to him, and he was like, "No, you know what? I don't want to be doing this for the next 10 years of my life."
Yeah, maybe.
It could be that was it. Yeah,
could be. So, issue 7. We're going to go through this one pretty quick.
Before we get to that, I want to point out the incredible missed opportunity here to give the Fantastic Four an orbiting HQ. Just saying. They could have had the original Watchtower.
A skyscraper floating in space.
Yeah.
Orbiting HQs are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, that being said, this is totally not a superhero story, right? This is the least superhero story I think we've read so far in this book. It is just straight science fiction. So it came from the skies, and Metal was giving us grief about this in our private chat before the stream.
Was he?
Yeah, he was talking.
I will admit this comic tried my patience.
Really? I loved it. I loved it.
Go.
Issue 7 just sucks, he says. I liked it. I don't know what you guys don't like about this here, man.
Well, that's
I'll
the
explain as we go.
7. Oh, yeah. 7 is Kurgo.
Yeah, right here. So the premise is that this man this Kurgo, this weird giant-headed alien, Cupid doll-looking alien, comes from the planet X. He's the master of planet X. And he comes to Earth with a cast-off model from the day the Earth stood still. And that movie plays out for a little bit, and suddenly everybody hates the Fantastic Four, right? And when deciding that everyone decides to hate because Kurgo has like permeated the Earth with some sort of mind control that's made everybody hate the Fantastic Four. And the reason they do that is it's a motivation to get the Fantastic Four to come to space. Long story short, right? But they have this great, like it's seen right out of the day the Earth stood still, with Klaatu Barata Nikto, right? That whole bit, and so the Fantastic Four, they got to take off into space because, and here's the part that I really liked, right? Makes me scroll quick to get to that part here, because there's all sorts of scenes about the way the Fantastic Four are trying to escape and how they're being forced into space by the aliens who are manipulating them. But here we are on the thing. Yep. So
I noticed that this story bugged me because it actually had a major screw up in the dialogue at the end.
oh yes.
And where he means to say that there's no enlarging gas, but he says there's no reducing gas, and there clearly is. And it's like
Yeah.
It was just I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So the thing is Kurgo has kidnapped the Fantastic Four because they're super powerful and they're super smart, and he's seen this from space,
Mhm.
and they've got a problem because there is a wandering planet. There's a name for that. That's not that, but it's a planet that doesn't have a proper orbit.
Rogue planet. Yeah.
A rogue planet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where its star is supernova, or it's too far away, or it's shrunk enough where there's not enough gravity for a distant planet, and there are these planetoids that are floating through space. For the really, really reals, this is happening out there. Anyway, so one of these is getting too close to Kurgo's planet, to planet X, and it's going to. Oh, there it is on the viewfinder. Look at this. It's going to destroy their planet. It's either heading right at them or close enough to them, it's disrupting the entire planet. And they, because that they are all subjected to Kurgo, who is the evil dictator of this planet, they've never been interested in space travel. They don't have the resources. They've mastered space travel, but they don't have enough ships to get everyone away, right? So they're like, we got 24 hours or we're all dead, and you wouldn't want us all to be dead. And the Fantastic Four are like, sure, we can figure it out in 24 hours.
This is the first annoying part for me. You're supposedly this, advanced civilization to which we're all peons to you, but you're coming to us for help
Yes.
with your problem.
Well, and the thing is, I can easily believe this, right? From a socio-political perspective, right? Because one of the premises is that they were an advanced civilization, but now they're being controlled by this egomaniac, right? So just like we saw happen in the Islamic Caliphate back in like the 9th century, or more like the 10th century, just like we saw happen in Soviet Russia, just like we see happen every time, like France after the terror, right? Anytime you've got a totalitarian government come up, right, it ends up squashing innovation and losing out on resources that it had developed. It just stops being able to develop and grow and change anything, right?
Mhm.
And so I find it easy to believe that like all of the geniuses have been squashed out of this society because Kurgo is in fact a mad dictator.
But then you have the problem that he supposedly actually cares about the rest of his people instead of just getting out of there himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's part of it is it would, because we see later on that his whole like mindset is about domination, right?
Yeah.
He's so dedicated. If there's no people there, there's no one to dominate.
He doesn't want to be alone either. I mean, you can get away,
Come and
but be
dominate
alone.
Earth. We're all peons after all, right?
Yeah.
There you go. And it might be a stretch, but I really enjoyed the dichotomy and how it all played out. I thought it was fun.
You may be power hungry. That doesn't mean that you don't care at all about saving people. You may be power hungry. That doesn't mean that's your only thing. He still wants to not be alone. He may still not want his entire planet to be destroyed except for him. It's like that's a what do you call it? It's a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
You're alive, but that's not.
So now
way
comes
to
the part.
win. Yeah.
Now comes the part where that I'm not sold on.
You mean the solution?
The solution, right? So Reed builds this giant gun, and this giant gun fires a capsule, and this capsule is full of gas. It's a shrinking gas, and he can fire it on the population and shrink them all so they can all fit in their one big rocket ship to get off the planet.
He was going to shoot it at the asteroid.
That's the part I didn't understand. Why are they not shooting at the asteroid?
This is strike two here, okay?
That was exactly the thing. Now, I'm literally willing to let it go
It's because because rock doesn't breathe gas, so firing a gas at the rock will do nothing.
It shrinks their clothes. It shrinks the stuff they've got in their hands.
Well, clothing breathes. People say my clothing
Ah.
breathes really well. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's permeable by the gas, whereas rock is not. So there you go.
So he
But
fires.
yeah,
his,
Reed Richards just comes up with a shrinking gas. He just creates that because there's a need to. So
right.
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing. It was like it's way out there, but it's a Fantastic Four book. Okay, fine.
mhm.
And not only this, but they don't have rocket technology, but they can manage to launch these things all over the entire freaking planet.
That's the part that it's a little hard to buy, right? I mean,
Mhm.
okay, I'm willing to let it slide, the whole technology thing slide, and not shooting the rock and space thing slide, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, sure. But I really enjoyed it, but it's also like, come on, guys, how many of these like giant shrinking gas capsules can you launch at a planet?
Not to mention that now that the people are smaller, they have all the more a distance to come to get to where
Right.
they need to go.
Thank you. I was like, how do you get billions of people scattered around a planet all into a rocket, and they all have to like
They have
In
smaller.
24
the
hours.
distance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually explained that in the thing. They've got smaller little things that can deliver them.
They've
Oh,
got
okay.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Actually, they've got like 8 hours at this point.
Right. So Kurgo, here's the little panel here where they've got these little rockets that are taking them to the big rocket. And these are short distance ones. They can't go to space, but that's the whole thing. So,
And by the way, I want to point out, like, there's something even about the art here that is just really screaming. What are they? Buck Rogers and all those older.
definitely
Yeah.
definitely got some great influences that way. At least I think they're great. Like I said, I really enjoyed the story. So
yeah. I keep thinking about the what does the rocket look like inside that you've made for you built it for full size beings, and now you need like 100 tiny little
Right.
floors, you know.
These people are going to be squashed by the launch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that effect be so much worse if you're small? It's the same propulsion, but you're now a tiny little thing. I should think the G forces would really destroy you. But
right. So
yeah.
here's the thing: so Kurgo's running along, and he's got the enlarging gas, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm going to keep the enlarging gas to myself, and I'll be the only big one, and then everybody else can fear me as a god. But then he trips and falls and has the best, like, Twilight Zone ending where he gets stuck behind on the planet as it's about to be crushed by the rogue planet coming at it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guys, they're just like, the Fantastic Four, they're just like getting back to Earth and like, I hope our plan works out. And then we discover that there is no such thing as enlarging gas. And you're right, there is a big typo.
Yeah, big. I mean, even it contradicts the previous sentence. It's like,
Yeah.
It clearly wasn't that proofread. Yeah. There's no reducing gas. He means there's no enlarging gas. Yeah.
Right. Well, and the crazy thing about this is like this is this version that we're looking at here. This is the remaster, the recoloring that's been done from the black and white originals.
Yeah.
And so
they could have fixed it if they wanted
could have
to.
fixed it. It would have been pretty easy to do.
Yeah. The strangest, here's what's weird. Reed just single-handedly decides that they will live as tiny people. And he's like, well, they'll be fine on their new planet. And it's like, well, who knows what the challenges are like on the new planet if you're really, really tiny,
And that's strike 3.
Yeah. And it is awfully, I know that Reed is supposed to be kind of a callous, not callous. What would I say?
I don't think he was at this point even.
No, but he does rather. He does have that aspect of him that he is a little controlling. He's a little. If a bad guy decided, I mean, this is basically the Brainiac solution. Is I will save millions of people, but they're going to be stuck in this bottle here, and that's fine. They still get to live, and they're in the bottle. Who cares? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there is
as long as I'm fine with that. Who cares what you
aspect
think? You're fine in the bottle. So that's his being a brainiac, a Marvel brainiac.
So here's the thing. Comics Code Authority, that was a thing by this point, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
So
10 years before
clearly-
this.
and I realized that the Comics Code only prevented heroes from directly killing people. It did not prevent people from dying. I get that part. Yet, why do I still get the feeling that they deliberately did not want to show this planet actually being blown up, right? Because you have this end to the villain, but it never actually happens on screen.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
true.
like, did they just run out of room, or were they deliberately trying to avoid showing that?
I think it's probably a matter of room if you think about how much is going on that last page.
Yeah,
right?
it's like he
it's
had
a
one page
9-panel
to
script.
solve everything. Yeah.
Yep.
One
So-
page. Yeah.
So yeah, the denouements. That's one thing about these whole series is like the denouements are so super compacted within this.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's fine.
I mean, they sure get a lot done. Each one of these issues. Every time I get to the end, and I'm like, or I think I'm getting to the end, and I'm like, oh wait, that's only halfway through.
Mhm.
Like these
Right, and
are
that's one of the things
full,
that's a challenge.
all-out stories in each one of these issues,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Oh, definitely. And that's one of the things that's such a challenge is like how much is happening in these stories and how long it takes a long time to read for me anyway. Going
Mhm.
through it, you're looking at probably 45 minutes to an hour per issue, which
Well, it's because there's often a lot of dialogue.
a lot
Yeah.
of dialogue, but also there's a lot of a lot of stuff that's actually going on too, right?
Yeah.
If I'm really wanting to like read it to just understand it, I'll just get through it. It takes me a while to actually take the time to ingest all of that, which is why I did not finish issue 10. So cards on the table. I don't have
At the rate we're going, we may not get to 10 anyway.
we might not get to 10
That's
anyway.
true.
But if this guy, his look is so weird, and it's almost, I mean, given the coloring and everything, I kind of wonder if he's supposed to be kind of like the way they made Asians look before, but it's more like he's just got a
Right, he
buggy-eyed
doesn't
face.
seem Asian.
No,
Much
and
like-
his daughter doesn't either. So
Well, and like, well, it's a stepdaughter, but also in the
Oh,
regular
yeah.
comic, he's regular flesh colored. So I wonder if this is supposed to be a lighting effect on the cover.
Did you just say
Yeah, I think
regular?
I did say regular. I should have said white.
No, but it's
Well, I mean,
it's
even-
another
okay,
callback.
Okay, let me back up for a second to defend myself here.
Uh-huh.
Like Asians in 1950s and 60s comics were not colored like Asians are in real life,
right.
right? So when I say regular, I'm meaning flesh tone, regardless of his. He's not coded to be anything other than white in the
Yeah.
book itself.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
But,
But
I want
he-
to point
he
out
is-
that this is another callback to those older comics. I've seen this kind of look on a lot of villains before, and it's just I don't know why, but it's this weird kind of like I'm inherent face.
you got cut off a second. You what about
Oh.
the face?
I called it the I'm inherently evil face. Every mad scientist, and along with the
Yeah.
baldness, right? It was almost always paired with that.
It's like if you remember
It's from the days of
Unbreakable. Do you remember
Tracy.
the movie Unbreakable, where
Yeah.
he's talking about the way that and it's obviously he's referring to Jack Kirby, but not by name, but it's supposed to be like a Kirby artwork that he's showing off to that one guy who comes to his place to buy a piece of art, and he's like, and look at the way the villain has the pronounced head and the big eyes, and it clearly
Right.
means that he's like an intellectual, but he's also towards evil. And as you're saying this, you realize Samuel L. Jackson is what he's describing. The big pronounced eyes and the big forehead. And it's like it kind of is a hint towards the end of the book. But this is it is true that is the way Jack Kirby draws these guys. A big head and bulging eyes kind of means I'm evil. And yeah, so
And
he's
a
got
big
evil
mouth.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also got
It-
way too many teeth.
It really harkens
Yeah.
back to the days of Dick Tracy and all his
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
crazy looking
Well,
villains.
he has to have that many teeth to fill a mouth that goes all the way out to here.
the joke
Yeah, yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also, I mean, you look like even like I mentioned earlier, you going back to the way Fu Manchu was described in
Mhm.
Sax Rohmer's book, right?
Right.
He's also given these features that are not entirely human to emphasize his his wickedness.
Right. Sort
So-
of his eyes are more like cat-like.
More
And-
cat-like, and his
yeah.
mannerisms don't. They're not.
In fact, I discovered there is was a Dick Tracy villain. I was surprised was clearly the original Two-Face. And I can't remember his name, but it was something very similar in the same
Prune
way.
face. You mean prune face?
No, I think it was more specifically referring to the double-sided.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Jim's comment on 7, as was so bad about this book, in his opinion, was like a pre-Marvel superhero story, anthology story, pretending to be a Fantastic Four story. Yeah, could be.
Mhm.
It could be. It definitely has a lot of but I think that's kind of one of the things that I found endearing about it myself, even though there are definitely problems with it as a whole. If you're taking this as a fun, maybe even low effort science fiction story, that it does fit. It doesn't fit the superhero vibe, and I think because Fantastic Four kind of ride that line anyway, it made it really fun. This story,
And
however,
honestly, that is making this a lot more interesting to me than most superhero comics.
well, I want to say this about this story. This issue, number 8, is very much more of a superhero story, right? In contrast to a science fiction story. And I think it feels that way a lot, especially because when you get into how this comes about, right? So the premise is it's the puppet master. They're prisoners of the puppet master. This is the second time, captives of Kurgo and prisoners of puppet master. Man,
Yeah.
what's with these guys?
And once again, Thing is about to fly completely off the handle.
Well, because they're keeping secrets from him, and he doesn't like being disrespected.
I
Man.
was
Did
sure
you?
that it was going to turn it out in the end to be a birthday party.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was a birthday party.
You know what? This is right around the time that the Justice League was forming, right? Before
Was
or
it?
after this, I don't remember, but it's right around that time. And I remember, I think it was Chuck Dixon in one of his hour-long shows was talking about how the Justice League was always getting enslaved or captured. That was like the plot of every, it was the slaves of Kanjar Row who have to row his boat, and then the next issue they're slaves to something else. He's like, these guys are getting enslaved like every third issue, it seems. And it's kind of like maybe there's something to the notion that this was like it's like a very common theme in all comic books right around then. I don't know why, but like you have all these powerful heroes and they're at somebody else's utter disposal,
Right.
somebody has ultimate power over them. And I guess it's just that establishes the threat that it's like these guys, the Thing should be like one of the toughest people in the world. And if he's being just somebody else's lackey, then, wow, this guy must be really bad.
Right.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
And actually, I think this story is pretty engaging in that way. I gotta say how much stuff happens here. Anyway, we'll try to get through it quick. So the
Yeah.
Thing storms off. Sue goes after him, try to talk sense into him. There's a whole kerfuffle there on the street. The Thing assaults somebody and doesn't get in trouble for it. And then Sue notices that somebody is climbing up the Brooklyn Bridge and is going to throw themselves off. Which is horrifying.
And the guy's a monkey too.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's that scene from the end of Alita Battle Angel. And he's getting ready to jump off there, and they can't get to him fast enough, so they send out the flare. Reed and Johnny see what's going on there. Everybody's trying their powers off to help, and sure enough,
And
we
we
discover-
establish Mr. Fantastic has a limit.
yes,
Yeah.
right, and they all have. This is one of the things in these several stories that we're going over tonight that's so interesting is everybody's got a limit, right?
Mhm.
So Johnny can only stay lit for so long. The Invisible Girl has I guess maybe she doesn't have a limit to how long she can stay invisible, but there are limitations to what invisibility can do. Reed can only stretch so long before he gets worn out and tired and can't stretch again, which like in the time I read later Fantastic Four books, of course, and like none of that comes up anymore. but it's really a factor in these early stories. So I'm not sure if it's a situation where they keep. They talk a lot about Johnny training himself with his fire. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a situation where they just went plus ultra past their limitations, right?
Well, I kind of like having a limitation on the Human Torch because, he can get like hotter than the sun,
Yeah.
and he's got pretty. Granted, he's limited to just being hot, but still, he's pretty all powerful. And if you don't have some limits, like he needs oxygen, and he uses up energy, and so he can only last so long. That it doesn't have to be like a firm minute, like what's his name, Negative Man of the Doom Patrol, but having some limits so that he can't just be a fire guy all the time. It makes sense. I don't know when they ended that, or if they ended that, or if they just,
I'm not sure.
if it's maybe it's still a limitation, but I don't know. It's kind of like I didn't like it when they had Aquaman having to be in touch with water every so often,
Right.
But that is how his baby was killed, by the way.
Yeah.
They just put in a bubble and he couldn't reach water. And he just died from lack of water. And it's like, well, and if you take off that aspect of the Atlanteans, like they don't have that limitation anymore, then what did his baby die from? But yeah, it's like you don't really like having hard, fast limits like that, but it does help to have some sort of limitations on these characters.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a drink. Keep talking. I'll
Okay.
be busy for a moment, so I'll be right back.
So one of the interesting things here is like this scene. I really, really like this scene. So Johnny's coming out here and he's trying to save this guy, right? But we see that he's being controlled by this puppet master. He's got this tiny little action figure of this dude. And then he's touching the action figure to push him off the bridge. Johnny's in the real world, snatches the guy's arms, and then the puppet master burns his finger. That seems super fun. Right?
This whole issue I found very interesting in how they had to translate each and everything he did and how it worked. It was more than just, hey, I'm going to literally just get in your mind and control every little thing. They actually had to say, okay, if he can't just do absolutely everything with a puppet, then there has to be a way that he has to think out what the ramifications will be and then find a clever way to do that. Mm-hmm. It was all very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I dug it. And so here's where we're introduced to the actually, let me get back to this here. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. We're introduced to Alicia Masters. The very first time she's shown, and she's named Alicia. I don't know if Puppet Masters or the Hands of the Puppet Maker, but his last name must be Master. So, because her last name is Masters, so his last name must be Masters too. If it's a stepdaughter, maybe they don't have the same last name. But
yeah, his first name is Puppet. Can't you see?
First name Puppet Master. So, but here's the thing where like any pretense of science fiction, like of seriousness or whatever, just comes completely off because he's making these puppets out of clay. They're claymation puppets, but it's this radioactive clay he found.
This is back in the day when radiation meant magic.
Right. So here's the great thing about this. So he's got himself a lead suit to cut off the stuff. It's in a lead box. It's so dangerous. And then he makes it, and he just uses them with no. Once they're made, it's like, oh, they're not radioactive anymore.
Or maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's how his face got messed up.
Yeah, maybe he's eating away his nose. Who knows? But in the scene, he's made a little thing. He brings the thing home. Invisible Girl follows the thing, and Alicia, because she's so innocent.
This was also brilliant.
But her senses give her that daredevil power, so she can tell that Sue is there, even though she's invisible, which is just fun. But yeah, so then this is the weirdest thing, man. This is where like Puppet Master seems to have like some real some real like scheming going on, right?
Yeah.
Some real high level scheming going on. And then all of a sudden he sees that Sue has a passing resemblance to his stepdaughter. So dyes her hair, gives it a bob cut, stitches herself a Fantastic Four costume, and sends her home with the Thing for reasons totally unknown.
Did he have to give her the giant forehead too?
Must have.
I don't know why he does why Kirby draws Sue with such a huge forehead, but
I think it's just the hairstyle.
Hairstyle the time.
Hairstyle.
Oh.
If you look at Alicia over here, she has bangs, right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
he has bangs.
I am back. Sorry about that. I
No, that's fine.
didn't mean to get that.
So, but yeah. So he's got this, and then this next part of his plan, which comes out of the end, but I don't really see what the point was. He makes he organizes a jailbreak. Let's just go with it. He just organizes a jailbreak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, right, the Thing comes back all mad and starts a fight, and then Reed and Johnny lure him into their secret lab where he knocks into these chemicals and turns back into Ben Grimm.
It
By the
happens
way-
all the time now. It's amazing. It happens every
Yeah.
issue or two. He becomes Ben Grimm for a few minutes, but only a few minutes.
And by the way, don't think I didn't notice that in the one issue where Ben is temporarily working for the villain, that he's wearing purple and green.
Well, there you go. I don't think I noticed that.
Mhm.
I just figured his outfit went with his orangeness.
Well, you're right. Yeah, purple and green. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's got a green hat, green pants, and purple coat. Yeah,
Yep.
we should have known he was evil.
So here's this moment. They get there. Johnny has been knocked out. They're like, "You're not Sue." "No, I'm not." "Well, what am I doing here? I was sent here for some unknown reason, but there was a nice guy that I met back at my weird stepdad's place, and he sounds like you, but he's not you." "Oh wait, maybe he is," because he turns back into the Thing, and it's great. The Ben just knows the chemicals dried off, and so their effectiveness quit working. That's what happened to me, but you know, at least this dishy blonde likes me anyway. So, what do you guys think is supposed to be going on here with this jailbreak? Like, I don't understand what he thought he was accomplishing.
First rule to taking over any society: cause as much chaos as you can.
Could be that, I
Everybody knows
guess.
that.
Gotham is yours. Sorry, that was my best Bane impression from.
Just look at what's happening now in real life.
Oh, Isaac, did it for fun? Take it for fun. Isaac asked, did she smell Sue? No, she heard Sue's heartbeat is actually what it's supposed to be. So, that was the ticket. She heard Sue's heartbeat and knew there must be somebody else there.
Really,
So-
I mean, I just took it as she could hear, the movement of somebody
Yeah.
walking around that you normally don't notice.
That's probably
Either
would
way
be
it
more
works.
reasonable, but that's
Is it ever really explained how he has this puppet control? That if he makes a puppet of somebody, that he has control over them? Because
he discovered it.
yeah.
Radiation.
But
Radiation.
what if you're, I mean, your sculpting has to be that exact, or does he just have to intend that this be, Invisible Girl and not any of 100 other blondes?
Right.
It's like,
That's what I meant.
he's
when
like,
I said
why isn't this working? And somewhere outside there's some, other blonde girl going, what's wrong with my arms?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant when I said, Twitless was the one who pointed this out to me years ago, that back in the day, radiation just meant magic. And
Yeah.
I took that as hyperbole until reading this particular issue. And then I realized, wow, we really are having to work on actual magic-like rules here for this to work.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. So, long story short, well, and first of all, and Sad Robot actually answers your question directly. Says, radioactive clay, shut up. Stanley.
Stanley.
So, to move along quickly, the Fantastic Four go to the jail. They stop the jailbreak. Then they track down the scientist or the puppet master who's got a giant robot for some reason who can
Well, is a
fight with
giant
the thing.
puppet, right?
Giant-
This is where it gets really interesting. It's like, wait. Now we're controlling inanimate objects.
Right. And he's got himself a robot puppet
Horse, yeah.
horse, Pegasus, that steals Sue, and then Reed grabs her with his long arms, and he's like, "That's fine. I've got a jet. I can get away." And then he doesn't. So, yeah, I can't remember how he ends up getting his comeuppance here. Oh, I've got him around. The jailbreak's first, so they stop the jailbreak. Blah 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 blah.
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
Can we scroll back up? A little bit. Keep going. Okay, I just want to point out, well, it's superhero physics, but like at the same time, wow, how lucky every one of these guys was that not a hand or a leg or something was right there where that cage comes slamming down.
Yeah.
Or look at this too. You've got Reed gets shot by all these bullets,
Yeah.
and he just
Mhm.
rubbers them back and doesn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Well, not that we see.
Not that we see
Well,
on the screen.
Certainly they aren't being returned at the exact same speed, and they're also facing the wrong way.
Yeah,
So-
wait. If any of those bullets did happen to accidentally hit someone, does that break the comics code?
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd have to read it again, and it's been a while. It's been a few years. So
This is something, of course, because I was always intending to write Elongated Man way back when. It's always made me wonder when does a stretchy guy first put himself to the test? Can I bounce a bullet back, or is it going to go through me? It's like who goes right in front of the bullets, just assuming that he's going to be fine. Because I assume this is the first time he's ever been shot with bullets. I don't remember any previous issue where he was.
yeah,
And
I think this is the first time he had it happen.
so yeah, it's like I'll be fine. How do you know?
And it's not like you can just try to outstretch them or something, because you'd have to move faster than the bullet.
Yeah.
That's like going.
And what if they hit you in the eye or or up your nose or
someplace that
something?
really hurts.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing: the puppet master has made a puppet of himself, which seems like a really great idea. And so
Yeah.
then he
And
comes
more
back
particularly,
home.
he's made himself king, right?
Of course.
If we follow the rules, then logical conclusion says, "Aha! I'm establishing myself."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then Alicia comes up and says, "Father, why are you so evil?" And he's like, "Shut up, girly. I'm going to dominate the world. It'll be great." And she's like, "No, but you can't. You can't." And so then he knocks him over. And then in trying to get the thing, he falls to his death right out the window. Oh, that's just so sad.
I thought it was. You notice how the doll is on its back as she's reaching for it.
Right.
And then he goes out the window and it's face first. So somebody picked up that doll and flung it forward so that he goes out the window. So I think it's implied that she killed her dad. Don't you think? Isn't that what it's saying? Because look.
I think it may be implied that because he trips on her leg, right? They're both reaching for it, right?
He trips on her arm. Yeah,
he trips on her arm. Yeah. So I'm wondering if she's going for the doll, and then he's going for the doll, and he trips, and she knocks him out. She drops it because she's being tripped on,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the whole business at that point.
Man, this is like Killing Joke levels of interpretation here.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I don't know what I think about it, but that's what I think. So then we have, of course, we'll skip all that. That don't matter. Issue 9.
Oh my
This
gosh!
is gonna have to be the last one.
I'm sorry. Can we go back one page? Just one page. The
Yeah.
previous page before the page where he died. Did you notice that? I mean, we all that talk about, is he supposed to be Asian? Look at the gigantic rice hat that he's wearing as they pull him in a rickshaw. I mean, I guess. How did we miss that?
I thought that's just his crown.
That's
On the
his
very
crown.
last panel.
That's
I
don't know.
Oh, this.
Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Rex.
Huh.
panel. I mean,
Well, that is odd.
Maybe he
Yeah.
is supposed to be Asian.
maybe.
But then she
I
would.
don't know.
Oh, except she's his
Well, no,
stepdaughter.
she's a stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder who her mother is.
Yeah. Although I still think that he's just drawn that way, not that he's supposed to be Asian, but just that he's got I'm evil face, like you say.
But that is such an odd
Yeah.
detail to throw in here.
It is.
The kind of visualization when the rest of the time he's just, classic English king.
Yeah. Sorry, I just caught it as we were moving on to the next story. I'm like, I didn't really look at that before.
And his name is Rex.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Puppet Master Rex. That just means that just
Oh, Rex isn't king.
Rex isn't king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I noticed the inking on the next one, the end of the Fantastic Four. The inker is Dick Ayers, and we were asking about the inking. Did it change from early on? So I'm going back to see.
Right.
Are the credits always in the? It's hard to find. It's hard to always find the credits in these books.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that is. They're always like right in your face in modern comics.
Yeah, I don't know I can't trust the inkers in all of them because it doesn't really say. I think it's kind of something they added early or later on, so I can't be sure about compared to the later ones. But okay, so like from this one on, I think they start actually saying script Stan Lee, art Jack Kirby. Okay, so sorry, it was a question we'd had before. I was trying to answer it.
Right. I'll bring up the image that first made me notice this. Actually, let me put it on screen here.
Well, and this cover's definitely been recolored because you don't have that kind of gradient.
Yeah.
In the Golden Age books where the background is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, look at this image of Reed here.
Hang on.
Sure. Like, this is not a superhero comic, right? This is like, Tales of Terror, right? From the 50s. Like,
Oh.
I was like, wow, something about the look of these comics has changed.
Well, and you got to also remember that like Marvel was doing horror books just before this. I mean, like Spider-Man and Amazing Fantasy, right? Came out in like Amazing Fantasy 15 or whatever. The rest of the stories in the book are all horror or suspense stories. So, like, that's one of the things about the Comic Code Authority that's really funny to me is like people say that it was like some sort of like censorship thing or whatever, but it was really not. The same kind of stories that were being published without the code were published later. They just didn't call them the same things. So that was one of the things where there were suspense stories or mystery stories. Both Marvel and DC, like the month after EC closed up shop, EC Comic closed up shop because they didn't have any distribution. They couldn't get distribution for any of their EC comics.
Right.
The month after, I think it was the month after. If it wasn't, it was 6 months after. Both Marvel and DC started publishing horror books that were not called horror books, so they were the same subject material. House of Mystery, and I'm trying to remember what one of the Marvel ones was, but
Where monsters dwell.
Yeah, that may have been it. And they were just they didn't have the rules that they wrote up they were able to abide by, and that was that. But
They did
yeah.
have. I mean, the comics code had some ridiculous stuff, like you couldn't have a dead body in a war comic.
Yep.
Or it was very strict, and all the married couples who had separate single beds next to each other, silly things like that. That they must have changed it over time, because you weren't seeing that by the 70s and 80s.
Well, and it was, I mean, a lot of it was that, like, not only that, it was things that were, did they have the rules? They didn't really abide by the rules so much. I mean, that's the thing about it, is if they let them slide on this thing, then not that thing, and that sort of stuff. There was a scale, because it was all a pay to play scheme by the comics distributors. So
right. Yeah, I don't know the extent to which it was actually enforced as much. I mean, considering it was basically both of the big comic companies saying, we agree to do this, but, if they decide they want to show something,
well, I mean, and
who's holding them up responsible?
Well, I assume that, like any, just like the film industry seal of approval, it's simply a case of, if we don't give you the seal, you're not going to sell a single one of these comics, because nobody's going to trust you.
Well, it was, I mean, and that wasn't even the case, right? Because it had to do with who had the distribution. Like, Dell never signed on to the Comics Code Authority. They thought it was insulting. They were asked to, and they had their own distribution networks. So they out-distributed Marvel and DC and every other company for decades, until they just decided they weren't making enough money in the early 70s, and folded up. And
Dell wasn't doing anything. Dell wasn't publishing anything that was even running the risk of violating the comics code.
They weren't.
If they had been under it.
Yeah, they weren't. And that was why they were just like, our name as Dell is better than the Comics Code Authority anyway. So we're not part, and we don't need to be part of your little club. So
you can't say the F word in little dot, I guess.
So
okay.
Yeah, for sure. And so that was all part of it. But I mean, like I said, and then DC were big proponents of the Comics Code Authority, because National had one of the two main distribution networks. And so Marvel had to play ball with DC, because DC, through their sister company, had the distribution network that Marvel could use. And so that was all part of that, like, whole thing. So
that's why Marvel had to have stuff like like Doctor Strange has to appear in something Mystery 174. Instead of being in Doctor Strange #1, is because they had of the difficulties of getting distribution.
Yep. With
DC. Yep. Running the distribution. Okay.
They were limited to the number of titles per month that they could sell.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. So they had like, their backups were like half the book, because they were, how that will shook out. Anyhow.
Okay. Well, we should talk about the end of the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I skipped over this one because I'm just getting so fed up with Namor.
I am.
That's unfortunate, because Namor is amazing in this one.
This one isn't so bad. This one isn't so bad. I really didn't like his earlier appearances. This one is not so bad. But I did think it was kind of ridiculous that they just all of a sudden they've lost all their money because Reed made some bad investments. It's like,
so here's the thing about
diversify, dude.
Well, it's not
I'm smart enough to diversify my stock portfolio. What's wrong with
Namor,
him?
Back in his palatial mansion, is watching TV and comes up with a scheme.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Reed has lost all of their money by putting his investments into Beanie Babies.
No, what happened is he put his investment into that building, and then Dr. Doom ruined it in space.
So here's the thing that doesn't make that would have made more sense, but it's the stock market, right? And so here's the thing is, everyone's like, Reed, how are we going to get money? And he's like, I don't know. We just got to sell all of our stuff, guys. And so they're selling off the Fantastic Four stuff. He's like, we made all our money on patents, but now we just don't have any money, guys. And it's just like, why? What? okay, Reed, why don't you just sell some rather than sell your stuff? Why don't you make some stuff for people to buy? Listen, Reed, if people are buying your pogo rocket, you can make more. just start getting contracts to make the stuff that you're selling, and you're fine. Because people really, really want to buy this stuff. You're having no problem selling the stuff.
Yeah.
So just make more of the stuff. It's such a simple solution. But
can anyone explain why Johnny is on fire while holding these suitcases on the front panel?
no.
And you mean on the cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just. Well, he does explain actually, he does explain on the very last page that he can make his hands not fiery in order to hold people and not hurt them. So he can hold the suitcases and not burn them, even though he's all completely on fire.
It's probably so it looks like that. So it looks like he's the Human Torch.
Right,
So,
right. They're just showing off his powers.
Remember, all of this has to happen so the comic can happen. That's what this is for. So
You know how much I hate that explanation.
I know. I'm not a big fan of it either, or of the fact that the thing just decides to wreck this taxi because he's in a mood.
Yeah.
Right?
It always bugs me.
Yeah, but here's this moment. So he goes to Alicia's house and he's venting his spleen, and she's like, "But you're my hero," and he says, "God, I gotta stop being such a dick." And so he comes back and he's like, "I'm sorry, I was such a dick, guys." And it reads like, "That's okay because I just got this letter, and we can go. We've been invited to be big stars in Hollywood." And so, and suddenly, the Fantastic Four becomes an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies.
The very next page is, I think at the time you're supposed to know who all these people are, and the only one I can get is one of them is obviously Hitchcock, but I don't know who the other three are.
Oh, so
I'm guessing this guy is what's his name?
I actually recognize some of these guys. Let's go ahead and check this out here. So I'm not sure who
Will
the lady
Rogers.
is. I recognize the lady, but I'm not sure who that is. This fellow here is the guy who was Marshall Matt Dillon.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Right? That's that guy.
Oh, so that's Miss Kitty.
It
That's
could
probably
be.
Miss Kitty.
I
Marshall
think
Dillon and
right,
Miss
right.
Kitty. Okay.
I'm not sure who the eye patch fellow is, right? But down here, you've got Bing Crosby and Bob Hope.
Yep. That was
Right.
obvious. Yeah.
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this guy is, but he's Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
Call him Jack here. This is supposed to be Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
And I don't recognize this guy in the back here.
You mean talking to Jackie Gleason?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Is that
from the Honeymooners.
Is that our
Hey,
Carney?
Jackie
Okay,
boy.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him as Art Carney, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's Art Carney. Okay. So
was this a case where Hollywood got in touch with Marvel and said, "Let's do a crossover"?
no, I think Jack just wanted to show off his ability to draw some of the famous people.
So,
That's
and it's
having
Namor
fun for a
has
day.
bought a movie studio because he's loaded. So here's the explanation of Namor's great wealth, and I love it. So Namor got bored, and he decided to hunt down stories from his childhood where they would just talk. His people would talk about all of the hidden treasures that they've watched pirates bury or they've seen shipwrecks. And so now Namor can't find any of his people. So he's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go find some treasure. So he's gone around the world to shipwrecks and gotten all the gold. And now he's rich. So rich, he bought a movie studio just for this gag. Wait, what?
Does he still own the movie studio at the end of the issue? That's the question.
He does.
It sounds like he puts out the movie that he's filming.
Yeah, he does.
So-
He still owns the studio.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the ocean, so the people he's hired are just running it for him.
It's interesting to see him in this getup too. Though, since we can only see him from the waist up, I still have to wonder if he's like still wearing the shorts
He's got
with
the tiny
bare
shorts.
legs.
Yeah, and he's smoking a cigarette in a holder.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is a better look for him than his usual costume, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons I like this story more, is he's actually wearing some clothes.
So there's all sorts of nonsense going on in the with their Hollywood lifestyle, right? So that's one of the things going on here. Oh, here we go. Confirmed. Namor is also a better than Reed when dealing with money. See,
And
That's
he comes from Atlantis. He knows nothing about our current economy.
well, gold is gold. Well, and
Yeah.
that's not necessarily true in terms of the current economy, because he would he had a lot. I mean, there were a lot of dealings in the Golden Age between Namor and surfacers. So the chance that he had the idea to learn about the modern economy, Western economy, and that time would have made sense. So even at this time, when you're looking at since they folded all that in there, there was a lot of you know, have all the invader stuff, but there was a lot of interaction he had with the surface world.
Yeah, I love Reed just stretching from the ship to the island, as like it's nothing.
Right. So here's the setup at this point: is you've got Namor says to Reed, "Okay, we're filming this story. It's sort of like a biopic. We're going to have you face off against a robotic Cyclops. So go ahead and go to this forbidden, forgotten island in the Mediterranean, and they sail there in a 3-masted ship, a square rigged ship. I don't know why. Okay, sure, Stan. I mean, sure, Jack.
I can only assume, since Namor is this rich Hollywood exec, that it's supposed to be like a yacht, but they didn't know how to draw a sailboat properly.
Could be. So the Fury of Mr. Fantastic gets to the island, and he finds out, oh my gosh, it's an actual real life Greek demigod Cyclops that's there, and Reed's got to fight him.
I love that artwork. And actually, I mean, that is actually a great Cyclops. Like, most of the time when I see a Cyclops, it's like badly drawn. And this is like an actually frightening monster. Really well done. Applause, you know? That's good.
So, yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting flashbacks of like Captain Kirk here.
yeah, that's fair. Or pre flashes, flash forwards of, because I think that came later than that actually. So here is a great scene. Check this out, guys. So the monster, or the whatever you call it, guy,
Cyclops. Yeah.
Cyclops has got it, and here he's smashed the rock down and reads just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So he's got another rock.
Face.
Reed's prepared with another rock, and here it is. He catches the rock with his torso and flings it toward the Cyclops, trips him, sends him into a pit, and then falls down to Tartarus. It's like,
That's what that was.
and nobody's like questioning, like, wait a second. The Greek gods are real? Why is nobody talking about this?
It doesn't say Tartarus. It just says he went into a pit.
Well, yes, but that's
Oh.
okay. That's the implication of a Cyclops falling into a giant bottomless pit in the earth, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. It's just
Yeah. Is it because he thinks he's filming a scene and this is all fake?
no. Reed's realized that it's a real Cyclops, but like it's not addressed that, oh my goodness, there are actual cyclopean beings on Earth.
Right.
Reed just takes it and, oh, I guess I learned something new today, guys.
I mean, to be fair, they face off against aliens and mole men every other week.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. So anyway, meanwhile, in the deepest, darkest heart of Africa, Johnny Storm is parachuted into the jungle to fight off or to pretend to fight off these local tribes, right? But Namor, that crafty fellow, he's got something up his sleeves. Because this particular tribe, they're immune to fire. Wait, what? Yeah, see, Johnny burns all of his fire juice out and they capture him. But see, these guys, they take special potions that allow them to be fire eaters, and they're immune to fire. So what does Johnny do? Well, Johnny gets his flame back. He confuses them. He lights a volcano on fire and destroys the entire village with a lava flow, ruining all of their magic juice.
Yeah, he destroys their society.
He destroys their society so he can get rid of their magic juice.
Right. And he all of a sudden is able to conjure multiple versions of himself.
Yeah, they're after images, right? They're flame beings. He's moving so fast and so hot. But before we get on to the next story, how with the Thing, which is a great scene with Namor and the Thing, I gotta say that's probably my favorite interaction in the book. But is Johnny's whole thing justified? It seems like maybe that's overkill.
He set off a volcano.
A volcano, right?
Yeah.
Like he could have just flown away.
Yeah. I was wondering that too. Why doesn't he just go?
He saw people who were immune to his abilities, and he freaked out.
He said, "That's not allowed.
I must end this."
Not even for 1 second, guys. I beg your absolute pardons. Yeah, maybe just leave, John. Right? Yeah, let's see. I mean, obviously, Namor, not cool. That's the whole thing, right? But Namor is also inflicting John upon the populace. Like, we don't know that they, at least I didn't, in my reading, I didn't know that they were necessarily in cahoots with Namor. Like, as far as they know, they've just been attacked by this dude.
Well, he's not exactly attacking them just to land in their, territory, though. So they are being aggressive.
Yeah, maybe they are being aggressive. It could be. I could be being not giving enough grace to their position or to John's position here, but he does just destroy their homes.
Right.
I guess what I'll give them is that their society is primitive enough; it won't take that much to rebuild, and then they can create their juice again.
It's like, oh no, your hut's destroyed. That's $1.20's worth of damage. It's like
the poor insurance companies.
Well, maybe Namor uses some of his treasure squanch to help them rebuild. Let's hope.
Maybe, yeah. They are being paid for the movie, aren't they?
I don't know. But, I mean, the Fantastic Four are being paid. I don't know if the natives are being paid or not.
That's true. He kind of set up the Cyclops. The Cyclops didn't say anything about getting a paycheck.
Right. The truth is, they're not natives at all. This is all just being done on set. These are paid actors.
Could be.
He literally imported a real volcano.
This is 2 issues in a row where he just suddenly reverts to being Ben for no reason.
Yes.
And just for the convenience of the story. Because we can't figure out who is really stronger, Submariner or the Thing, so we get around it by suddenly making him Ben Grimm, who is defeated with a punch. Right. Yeah.
And so this fight is great. I absolutely love this Namor Thing fight. Seeing them both try to figure out what's going on with them, and the scene. Look at this last panel, just like the energy in this. They're wrestling along the beach coast, right?
Well, it's Kirby, right?
Yeah, it's just great. I mean, think about how much goes on in this 9-panel grid. This is ridiculous. The guy was just a master of this, and then. What do you have? Vengeance is ours. The Thing figures out that the water is the thing that gives Namor his strength. So what does he do? He brings him on the beach away from the water to beat this guy senseless. He just manhandles the King of the Seven Seas. and pulls him on shore, just to hold him there till he dries out.
And then
Thing-
does
thing you
Namor cause the lightning, or is this just a total comic
I
book
think it's a coincidence, right?
Comic book coincidence, and the lightning changes him into Ben
Right.
without explanation.
Oh.
Yeah, and just sheer coincidence. And then now that he's no longer cosmic ray powered, then just one quick sock to the jaw, and Ben Grimm's laid out like some sort of chump. Right. So Namor goes back and he makes a desperate ploy to Sue to say, look, so here's this ticket. I've defeated all of your friends. I'm stronger than them. I'm smarter than them. I'm also rich and not a chump. So you should come over and be my queen. And she's like, no, that's stupid. And he's like, no, you're exactly the kind of woman I want. You're intelligent and you're smart and you're crafty and you put up a fight. And I like that. So I'm going to use my fish eyes to find you when no one else can. Now, I think the idea of Namor developing these new powers is a little silly. But, right? Look at the way they're playing this out, right? She's invisible. She's visible to normal vision, right? But using the what do they call it? The radar vision of the of a cave fish, and you've got this blank space where the radar isn't visible, and that's what he's perceiving is the blank space. Like that's really fun, right? Like that. This is fun comics right here.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the heck out of that. And then
I don't mind them trying to give him new powers because just being strong is kind of boring. It's strong and he can fly from tiny little wings on his feet, which is, even in the 60s, I think that was kind of silly.
And as I have pointed out about aquatic characters, the problem is you're going to actually be in the water about 1% of the time anyway. So you better have something else you can do.
Yeah.
Just had Robot about the fight with Thing. He's like, well, I don't want to go back to the beach. Isaac says, what doesn't turn Ben Grimm back? He spills coffee, turns back.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, honestly, if, the editors or even people above, got a poll of popularity and said, we'd like to have you, have Ben in, every issue or every other issue as often as you can for some reason.
Turn into a person, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of that is first of all, I think in this story, it's specifically to give an excuse for Namor to beat him.
Yeah.
Right? Because Ben had a strategic advantage at this point. He'd figured out Namor's weakness. He was getting ready to exploit it. They're pretty evenly matched when Namor's in the water. They've already established that. So they have to do something to balance this out. And that freak accident's the thing. I mean, it just rode himself into a corner, right? It's the Jim Henson guide to writing conflict. When all else fails, blow something up, right? So Namor has this moment where he's caught Sue. He's trying to convince her. She's trying to fight it, and then what happens? The rest of the guys show up and they're catch him, and Sue's like, "No, we have to stop fighting because I don't like conflict." And I'm like, "Dude, the guy just was getting ready to kidnap you." And she's like, "No, that's cool. Guys, still fighting, okay?"
So he just left Ben on the beach there?
Yeah. He just left Ben on the beach. He just left Johnny in the jungle. He just left Reed on the island. And they all get back at the same time.
Yeah.
Some evil mastermind.
Yeah, and he's back to being the Thing with no explanation.
Well, because the whatever changed him back wore all the energy, electricity wore off. So he probably woke up on the beach as the Thing.
I having finished the story, like you say, he doesn't give up being the head of the studio. He actually makes the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, wouldn't it be kind of funny? I mean, I don't know that this was ever referred to again. Wouldn't it be funny if in some modern issue he just happens to drop, by the way, I'm the head of that studio, right?
I think
I
that
still
may-
own that. What's
I
that?
think that actually is mentioned in the first issue of John Byrne's Namor series from the 90s. Because
Imagine.
I think it's mentioned there. It's mentioned that he owns several large companies. Because he owns like an oil company and he owns some shipping companies, and I think it's mentioned he still owns the studio. I could be wrong about it. I
Wait,
haven't read that earlier
Namor
one.
owns an oil company?
Yeah, deep sea drilling.
Really?
I believe so. I mean, I haven't read that issue in 20 years, so I might be remembering wrong, but
He'd be, if you're wanting oil, having Atlanteans do it would at least guarantee they'd be very, careful about it. And
well, and
making
also
sure
like
there's no leaks or anything.
they've got technology that's built to survive on the seafloor.
Yeah.
So like some of the deep sea drilling that we have, would be could be more problematic like seismically than
Yeah.
those that are already used to dealing on the seafloor.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair
So-
enough.
Yeah.
having the drilling components on the surface, the
Yeah.
seafloor surface, and then just pumping it up, having a separate system to pump it up would actually make a lot more sense.
you think about how dangerous it is to work deep sea,
Mhm.
for this kind of stuff. Being Atlantean would be a huge advantage. You'd be
Yeah.
able to come up with much better equipment, and it's, I need to go down and check it out. No big deal,
Well, and they'd be already down there to check it out, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not even like it's
Right.
Well,
So-
it's really making me want us to think that like Namor is the head of the MCU, which would totally explain how it's gone downhill.
So anyway, so one of the things, so Sue says, you guys have all had your fun, but Namor promised us that he'd pay us, and he's going to do just that because he's an honorable guy. And Namor's like, Drac, you found me out. And so he leaves all sad, goes into the ocean.
He walks
And
into
he
the
has-
ocean like Godzilla.
Yep. And then he just has the guys back at the office take care of everything, and the Fantastic Four are back on top, baby.
Until Reed makes his next
Financial
investment.
blunder. Read the chucklehead.
Weeks later, it takes them only weeks to finish the movie and edit it together and put it out.
And Namor hires the best guys with all of his treasure.
I have to say, I know you haven't read number 10, but I really did enjoy number 10.
Mm-hmm,
I think it's probably my favorite, and maybe because, as I pointed out, these are getting better and better as they figure out the characters and they improve the drawings and all that sort of stuff. Maybe number 10 is kind of where it starts to come together, because you look at the cover of number 10 and it's exactly what I was talking about the evil face, about the evil. It's like Reed's always been a brainy guy, but here he just all of a sudden he's got the arched eyebrows and he's got an evil guy inside him. There's no hiding it, So look at that. It's not as good in this scan as in the book that I have. The book here is really nicely colored. If you can compare,
Yeah, let's go ahead and
it,
give you
it does look a little better there. See the details
But-
of the. I mean, to look at that, you're like, that's not Reed Richards. He's clearly evil.
He's wearing blue though, so
Yeah, but look at that. Look at this face. It's like immediately you're like, well, that's not Reed Richards.
yeah.
As soon as it's the brain swap. It's typical brain swap stuff. Typical meaning we're used to it by now. But the whole issue is basically Dr. Doom traps Reed Richards into brain swapping with him, and I do have to admit this was a little bit of a weakness. That I'm jumping ahead here, but basically having
Hey, Hutch, I think we lost you.
Yep, my book hit the mute button, I guess. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't even know how it did that, but maybe it was the space bar or something.
I think the space
Sorry.
bar can mute.
Yeah. So he traps. I don't know where I got cut off, but he traps Reed's mind in his body and sticks his body in a big jar, and says, oh, I'm just putting him there. Don't worry, there's plenty of air. And then they leave, and there's only an hour's worth of air. He lied to everybody else, but everybody trusts him because he's in Reed's body. He's like, oh, I've set it up. There's going to be plenty of air in there. And then he leaves his body to die inside the jar so that he will always be Reed Richards then, which is ingenious. The only thing is, he's left his body with all kinds. I mean, it's like a utility belt, basically. He's got gimmicks in every glove and everything. And you'd think that Reed would think to say, okay, I'm trapped here. And he'd start looking through, what do I have to, what are the things that I have available? Just start taking the stuff off and looking it over, because he's a genius. He should be able to, figure out what things do I have that I could use to escape this jar. And instead he tries to explode a oxygen cylinder against the glass or something, which doesn't seem all that smart. But anyway. And immediately, as soon as Dr. Doom is back in his body, he's like, by the way, and he just starts pulling out all kinds of gimmicks out of his glove that he had the whole time. Reed could have used these if he just thought to try it,
Maybe I'm thinking in modern day when we're used to mobility and wirelessness and stuff, but in theory,
you could
probably push a button and lock the entire suit down.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, he'd probably have even more control over the suit to just disable everything in it. But I don't know. Reed's supposed to be a genius. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the problems of writing geniuses. Unless you're actually a genius, it doesn't come across that way.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But
one thing I thought was interesting, it made me rethink Dr. Doom entirely. I always assumed he was wrapped up in an entire metal suit, meaning a helmet, but then Alicia goes and bonks him on the head with a pot from behind. And I'm like, does he just have a head back there?
Yeah, in the beginning of issue 10, I did give you the beginning of issue 10, he shows up at a place and he takes the mask off, and just the mask, it's just a front face, but facing thing with a strap that goes around the back of his head. So he's just in that version, it's just a hood. Anyhow, we might talk about 10 next week. Who knows?
Okay.
But
before
we get into that, guys, what do we think about this Fantastic Four? Is this something that you guys are looking to keep reading, or you want to skip ahead to the Silver Surfer? What are your takes on all of that?
Well, I'm going to have to skip ahead because I only have this one and then the Silver Surfer books. So
I think that's a good idea.
So
yeah,
I've been really enjoying it. I don't know that I've got the patience with all the other comics that I want to read, that I want to sit down and just read through it right now in my life.
Yeah,
but I have been really, really enjoying it, and kind of seeing that intersection of the superhero and the science fiction, and leaning toward that sci-fi, the sci-fi stories.
You want to hold off on talking about number 10?
Yeah,
I kind of covered everything I was going to say about it, which is just that, it's a good story. I think it's probably one of the best ones so far, just because it's coming along. Every issue is a little bit better as they kind of flesh out what they're doing, and they get better at this, and so I can only imagine, a couple of years down the line what the writing's going to be like. Hopefully it'll be better, and he isn't turning into Reed Richards every issue. He isn't having a stupid fight with, not Reed Richards, Ben Grimm. He isn't turning back into Ben Grimm each issue. He isn't having a fight with Reed or a fight with Johnny, for no apparent reason except to have a big dust up in the middle of the issue. It's kind of, he seems like he should have therapy.
All that being said, though, it's still so much more complex and in depth than I would expect a Silver Age comic to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so and
that was one of the things that I've been told was that hallmark of Marvel in this Marvel Age, right? That's why it was moving units, it was so different from a lot of that market. I mean, let's face it. I mean, like
this is before Spider-Man, right?
It was contemporaneous with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was being published at this time.
Okay.
Right. So Spider-Man and Daredevil was being published at this time. I think Thor had been published by now too. I'm not sure about that, but because we're into 10, so like this is being published every 2 months, right? So 10 issues, you're looking at that as being almost 2 years of Fantastic Four of production of Fantastic Four, right? So on the off months, you're going to be having some of those other books being put out. So I think that Marvel's agreement with DC at this time limited them to 5 books a month.
Wow, that is few.
Which is one of the reasons that you have these every other month books. So you get on, but also remember these are going on the newsstand, so stuff is sitting on the newsstand for 6 months, right?
Okay.
Or maybe not quite that long, but for a while. So it's a situation where they may have 15 titles that are being sitting on the newsstand for this length of time, but they're coming out staggered. So you've got Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy, and Spider-Man #1, and Tales to Astonish with Thor and Captain America. I mean, with Thor and Iron Man are both in Tales to Astonish, and you've got Force Fantastic Four. You've got so that's one of these things where they're staggering them out there. So they're still sitting with on the shelf, but they're not coming out with the same. I mean, I try to remember how many. Well, I mean, and also the other side of that too is like it's really good discipline for the Marvel people on cranking these out with and being able to look at these, focusing on these sets of stories and how they're building their universe. Because one of the things that happened 10 years ago, and one of the things that is probably related to the end of the Golden Age per se, was that Marvel was releasing more titles in a month than anyone at that time had, and actually flooded the market in 52. There was the comic book bubble popped in 1952. They reached a stage where they're putting out so many books that the market wasn't buying them, and that preceded a crash that lasted for the next year and a half.
So they were trying to correct the mistake.
So that there was a correction that happened, and it took 10 years for sales to start to stabilize between the companies after that point. So a lot of things that get pinned on the Comics Code Authority are actually the decrease in sales preceded the foundation of the Comics Code Authority. But that's the whole thing. So anyway,
funny how we keep coming back to the Comics Code tonight.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 times.
It's been in my head. I'll tell you why. Evie, who shows up in the chat sometimes as I can't remember what she'd call what she is on YouTube these days, but she did the R for other stuff. She recently reminded me of a book that was put out that is a biography, a graphic biography of Frederick Wortham of Seduction of the Innocent fame. I had heard about it, and I'd kind of forgotten about it, but she saw it sitting on a shelf at a bookstore and reminded me about it over this last weekend. And I'm really keen to pick that up. And if I get any cash for Christmas, I might have to throw down for that. But we'll see. Anyway, that's the story, folks. Till next time, I gotta wrap the show. I wanted to do this a little sooner, but I didn't. I got to go get groceries, so I got to cut out. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Next week, we might be talking about Fantastic Four 10. It's very possible since we're right there on the threshold. That seems like a natural thing to go. And then I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's the show, guys. Hopefully, all you guys out there in the internet world, I hope you enjoyed this. Get out there and read some comics, and tell us, hey, here's an activity for you guys in the chat. When the stream ends, come on back to the show. Leave in the comments down below the video, regular comments, not the stream comments, but the regular comments. let us know one of your favorite comic books that has like a Christmas connection, because we're right on the cusp of all that. And maybe we'll make a show out of that in a couple of weeks. Anyway, we'll see you guys all around the internet. And until next time, get out there and read some comics. And for Monitor Duty and the rest of the guys, we're signing off. You guys have a good one.